Okay, so I'm just making a quick video here about speculating in Magic Online. The site that I use the most to help me with speculations is MTGGoldfish.com. This is a good site. It has price lists, metagame, so it takes all the 3-1, 4-0 decks from the daily events, and it puts those into the metagame. So if you look at standard here, you've got all the black devotion, blue devotion, red devotion, blue-white control, Esper, Orzhov control, and all of the different decks. Myself, I focus on modern, so you can see the current metagame here, and it's pretty diverse right now actually. Agendas went down, Splinter Twin is probably at its highest ever, Affinity, blue-white red control, Tron, and Merfolk, since Master of Waves has become a big thing, as all kind of as well as Birthing Pod, both Lyra and Kiki Pod are both things as well. So you've got a pretty varying meta here as you look at all of the decks. There's lots of other ones as well. Burn, Boggles, Snapcaster based decks, Cruel, Control, Esper, Zur, lots of different decks. Soul Sisters, all the different decks, and when you're trying to decide what to focus on, if you want to make a profit, you really have to look at playability. What decks are down in the meta, what cards are down, where what cards have a high power level but aren't seeing play, things like that. The fetch lands are always a great investment. They're always going to be, on a generic trend upwards. If you look, let me see here. Just looking for. There is a list of specifically the Zendikar lands, which is pretty nice to look at, since Zendikar lands are one of the better things. Like you look at their overall trend over time since early 2012, trending upwards really, and the same is true for the rest of the fetch lands. So those are always a good choice as well. You need them for many decks. And the best buy right now as far as the fetch lands go is Verdant Catacombs. If you look at just since September here, it peaked in September at 22. It's went up and down a bit. Right now it's only at around 17 tickets, 17.5 tickets. So that's a good buy. Its high is 22, and it's due when Gent starts to pick up popularity again, which it will. It'll hit 22, 23. So it's pretty much guaranteed 25% profit there on Verdant Catacombs. So that's a good one. I have quite a few of those myself. There's a lot of other cards that are, just good long term, like Liliana the Veil. Obviously, right now, very expensive, but if it ever goes back down to, 50, it is a card that will hit, 60 plus, and I wouldn't doubt if it hit, 75 or whatever during the PTQ season when everyone's playing Modern. And Modern Masters, another good place to look. A lot of good cards here. Obviously Tarmogoyf, 70 right now, very expensive, but if you have the capital, it certainly has potential to hit 90, 100 during the PTQ season as well. There's other ones that are good buys, something like Kitchen Finks, right? I bought a ton of Kitchen Finks not too long ago when it was down here at 0.5. I bought 20 Kitchen Finks. And there's really no risk at all because it's a great card. It's always playable. It's playing a decent number of decks, and it's hit a maximum of 2 tickets. So I'm not going to sell them until they go back up, and they will eventually hit 2 tickets again. Just a matter of time for something like Kitchen Finks. Same thing with Path to Exile. You'll see a lot of the uncommons, the good uncommons, follow this trend. As here, Path to Exile 3.3 went as low as 0.7 not too long ago in December, already back up to 2.5. So this shows you that there's definitely a lot of profit to be made on good uncommons. Remand is another one. Travis Wu has been playing his Ninja Bear Delver deck. It was as low as 1 a lot of times. I picked up 15 of them at 1 around here, right around here in November, and then I sold when they peaked at around 4.5 not too long ago. So now it's going to start to trend down a bit more. Probably won't hit as low as 1 again for quite some time since he's playing a lot of decks. Great card to have a playset of, since it's such a strong card and a fun card to use. Dismember is another card. Again, see the trends, down 0.7, down as low as 1.5. I don't see this card being from New Phyrexia. Not drafted that often, that set. That set in general was also redeemed a ton because it has a lot of good legacy and other staples. So it had a lot of redemption. So the next time Dismember hits 1.3, 1.5, it's a good pickup there, because as you can see, it will hit 3+, and you will make triple your money back. So this is really how you can slowly increase your profit over time. It's just picking things up when they're at their lowest. Like I have Sanctity, another good one. Pretty essential for combo decks to fight Jund, to fight discard. Pretty much since the card was discovered, it's trended up and down. When it goes as low as in the 2s, then it's a good pickup because it will again. Right now it's 5. It's probably a decent time to sell. I'm going to keep a playset, of course, for myself, but when it goes back down to 3, it'll be a good pickup again. And there's lots of cards that are like this. Other cards that have pretty high potential, and Escape Shift probably won't be a 22 ticket card again, but as you can see, it is trending up again. Now is not a bad time to pick up Escape Shift. It will hit a decent price in the next 6 months. It will hit higher than that. Blackleaf Cliffs, again, another one to pick up when it's at 1, because it will go up to 3, and it's not a bad one as well. So when you look through, you see a lot of variance, a lot of cards that go up and down quite a bit. Celestial Colonnade, it's pretty low right now. Could hit as high as 15 if the web becomes popular. Ajani is pretty low right now, getting 26, it's at 15. A lot of good cards here that are that aren't that expensive, and really you just have to be willing to sell when the time is right. If you have things that are in your decks, you have to be willing to sell out and ditch that deck if you don't have enough to just buy it and then leave it in your inventory of cards. So that could be a problem for some people, but you have to just be willing to sell it at a moment's notice, because sometimes the card will just spike based on one good tournament or anything like that. So you have to be willing to sell. When you look at Disrupting Shoal here, I mean, even if you're playing the Ninja Bear Delver deck, you'd be pretty foolish not to be selling them right now when they're still 11 ticks, because it eventually will go back down. It's a good card, don't get me wrong, great card, but it costs more than it's worth. Same with something like Zerv. Recently, again, it's getting articles written about it, pretty popular, but now's a good time to sell that as well. As far as standard goes, for that you want to look at cards that are really, really cheap. Obviously, cards that are playable that aren't that much. I mean, things like Temple Abandoned, half a ticket. Temples in general, they should see pretty consistent play when Theros gets drafted less. Eventually, these will all go up. Kind of a long-term investment. Same with Thoughtseize. I mean, Thoughtseize pretty consistently going to be a 5-6 ticket card. Eventually, when it rotates out, it'll be a 10 ticket card, 15 ticket card again, due to Modern. So Thoughtseize is a great long-term spec. If you're looking to make shorter term profit, then you want to look at other things like any of these planeswalkers. Elspeth is just 10 right now. Inkshot is at 6. You've got Stormbreath Dragon at 14. Xenagos at 7. I mean, a lot of these cards are kind of underpriced. They're not seeing autoplay right now because of the devotion mechanic, but they certainly could in the near future. So just make sure to watch for the spoilers, and that will give you a good idea. Like Desecration Demon, I made a killing off this card when it was worth almost nothing. Like smart people saw a 6/6 for 4 is pretty insane, and thought that hey, why not pick up 15 of these, and then you sell it at 5 and you make a huge profit. There's a lot of cards that at rotation that you can do that with. So when the rotation comes, you have to be watching carefully. Like Mono Red, kind of the same thing. Ash Sailor was cheap, and then after Mono Red became a thing, it went way up. Same with Boros Reckoner. As you can see, price went up, and then rotation. And so rotation really is the best time to make a good profit. Jace as well. Jace was a big one. I was buying them here when they were 15. I saw them rising slowly. I knew that this was going to be a great card in the new standard. And then Theros hit, and they've continued to climb since then. So it's just a first video. If you guys enjoyed it, have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I might make another video when I go over my specific speculations, because there's a lot of ones. I mean, you could speculate on things that are on the ban list right now, like a Bitter Blossom, which could get unbanned at some point. This card could be a 25 ticket card, as it was back in 2011 if it did get unbanned. So I may do another video like this if you guys enjoyed it. Okay, so good luck speculating, and remember, you have to spend the money to make the money. So don't be afraid to speculate on some cards.